Welcome to the O.W.P. This is our wrestling podcast. This is Dave along with Jess.
Hello, David. Hi.
Cuz brother. And Craig.
Yeah.
Bringing you
So
our perspective on the world of professional wrestling.
I thought you would have right in your head.
No inside sources, no ties to the industry, just stories from the diehards, sharing opinions with you. And now on to our topic today, Wrestlemania 17. Hit us up on Instagram at O.W.P 2019. Click on Linktree. You can find us on several platforms, including Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, and Google Podcasts. And anything that we talk about today is inspired by the WWE Network. So do yourself a favor and get your free month today to watch anything WWE, WCW, ECW, and more. Guys, it's still WrestleMania season. What fun.
It is. And because are there any presenting sponsors of the show or something that presents this particular podcast?
Set it up, broski.
And now, the WWE Network proudly brings to you our wrestling podcast, Retro Review of WrestleMania 17.
Yeah!
Yeah.
Well
52
well done.
countries!
I pimped Cuz on that one. He didn't. I wasn't expecting it. Nailed it. Good job.
WWE Network doesn't sponsor us.
So, there's a war out there. Some people say WrestleMania 17 is still the greatest WrestleMania to ever wrestle with Mania.
It's all right.
A lot of people say, which we also have reviewed, WrestleMania 19 is the greatest WrestleMania
I
of
heard
all
something
time.
about that.
We already reviewed 19. Now let's review this motherfucker and
Whoa.
see what we feel all these years later. I mean, I've watched this multiple times, obviously, and I watched this live in my living room when it happened in 2001. But I watched it serious-like this last couple days in preparation for the show. So,
Totally serial.
looking forward
Jess,
to talking
totally
about it. I'm looking
serial.
forward to talking about
I'm totally serial. Man,
I'm
bear
cereal.
pig. Look
Fucking
it
cereal right now.
up. Well, yeah. I mean, when you're talking about this, you look at the players in the game here. This is pretty hard not to call the best WrestleMania ever. Some people have, there are people out there. I think Jess talked about last time that just want to fight it and say that 19 is the best, but I think the majority of people would say this is the best. I've got Reliant Astrodome in Houston, Texas. Attendance was 67,925 people.
Nice. And the first WrestleMania in Texas.
Yes.
There you go.
And as a fan, I remember this fondly because this was the first time since WrestleMania 8 that they were back at a dome. They did one in Madison Square Garden. They did 2 in 3 separate venues. 3 was their first Domania ever in the Pontiac Silverdome. And then after that, they did smaller venues until Warrior and Hogan. They did in a dome. And then the last dome show that they did was WrestleMania 8, which was Sid and Hulk and Flair and Savage. And they did not go to a dome until this Mania. And I remember as a fan in 2001, it made me feel like I was back in that time in the 80s because I was, in a weird way, we were kind of used to domes. Even if you talk about all the Manias, there's only 3 of them that were in domes, like within the first 16. But for some odd reason, I remember Mania being like a dome kind of show, even though, again, like I said, now they're in domes every single year. But back then, I always thought of it as a dome show, even though I just could say them out loud and the majority was not in a dome. But when it came back here, it really, everybody's favorite, Dave Meltzer, described this WrestleMania, and I know everybody has mixed feelings about him, but I liked his description of this Mania. This WrestleMania was a love letter to the Attitude Era.
My shitty review that I will, really upset you with in a minute says that Jim Ross and Paul Heyman are commentary.
So set the stage for that. Dave did not watch this. Dave has seen WrestleMania.
I've seen it a ton of times,
but he did not rewatch it recently for the.
I didn't rewatch it either.
So what Dave's going to do is Dave is going to, in place of his opinion, he's going to read some fucking reviewer out there from 2015. You said
You got it. Yeah, that's what
Alright.
we're gonna do. It's gonna be fun.
So we're not going to name who it
Uh,
is, but he's going to read someone who reviewed it. And
Yeah,
I didn't get to watch it
I,
because the
I
power was
honestly
out.
think this is fun when we do it.
But I don't know if you guys just want to dive right into it or not. I guess we could definitely talk at the end because.
Well,
like
why
Greg
don't you
said,
tell us about
just,
the dark match, Jess? What's going on?
I'm not going to tell fucking shit. So the dark match is
What was it?
X Factor, who was
X
just
Factor.
incredible, and X Pac. And let me tell you, I like the at this time. This is when it developed X Pac heat. And for those people who don't know what X Pac heat means, it means get the fuck off my television, which is not good. For some odd reason, for like this 2-year span, X Pac fell into this category where people are like, oh, fucking this guy. Like, and I don't know why. X Pac is so fucking criminally underrated. He's so good.
Yeah,
he's so
really
talented. But he had a cool. I love the name, the X Factor. It was Just Incredible and X Pac, and I like Just Incredible because he made his name in ECW, and ECW went out of business around this time as well. They didn't announce it yet. The sale of WCW was announced before the bankruptcy of ECW. But the fact that Paul Heyman's commentating here, like everybody fucking knew, ECW's done. But they hadn't gone official yet in bankruptcy at this point. But they're very
WrestleMania.
So
Aldo Montoya.
in the dark match, X Factor defeated Grandmaster Sexay and Steven Blackman in 2 minutes and 42 seconds.
Aw.
Why even march him out for a dark match? At
That's
that point?
hilarious.
2 minutes.
Poor black man, bro.
Yeah, their entrances.
The entrances took 3 minutes.
And in the hot
literally,
open.
this was- yeah,
In the dark.
Yeah.
this was the production crew's time to rehearse real quick. By the way, like before it went live, they're like, let's just fucking fuck with the entrances, and that's all it is.
Which I just want to say, production wise, there is no messed minute. There is no wasted time at all in this. I was watching this, looking to typically when you like I watch back WrestleManias, fast forward a lot of like the backstage stuff. This flows so quick. It just quick interview backstage, back to the ring. Like they do not mess around. There's 11 matches in 3 hours and 45, and I really like the pacing and how they didn't like mess with a lot of.
God,
they had the access segment, but it was
Hey, Greg, that's what we call high and tight, bro.
yeah.
Wish they did
That's
that
exactly
now.
what I know.
Now it's 6 hours. They don't give a shit.
Whoa.
So the
Whoa.
opening bout.
Now it's
is
going to
for
be
the-
2 days, but
Yeah. The opening bout is for the WWF Intercontinental Championship. The
Intercontinental
champion Christopher
Championship.
Jericho defeated William Regal to defend the
Good
Intercontinental
match.
Championship. 7 minutes, 8 seconds. I gave it a thumbs in the middle. It wasn't spectacular, but it
I
was a
liked it.
solid match. Regal's chest was redder than a goddamn stop sign after Jericho chopped him.
Good.
I thought that the reason why I gave it a thumbs in the middle is because the ending was anticlimactic. He hits the lion salt and he gets a pin that the way the pin was paced and the way Regal was laying there, I was like, he's going to kick. And I was like, oh, he didn't. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, and it was
Did
just
Jericho
kinda,
hurt his shoulder? That was what I thought he would like. It was legit
Maybe.
injury. They end like that's such a straight for an opener. It was such a weird ending.
yeah. So I give it a thumbs in the middle. Craig, go ahead.
Same thumbs in the middle. I read a lot of reviews and Meltzer liked it and everyone thinks it's a great match. I was underwhelmed by it because I love Regal and he goes off the top and does like a little hip toss off the top rope to Jericho in this, but like it didn't get me psyched and it ended weird. And I expected more and sad because I love Regal. But yeah, thumbs in the middle. I couldn't give this a thumbs up. Which
Now scoring, but hurting his shoulder again. The leg is hooked. And that's it. What a gut check from Chris Jericho. The winner of this match and still
which sets the
Cousin.
tone for like
interesting, kind of build up to this. Jericho peed in Regal's tea.
He
And
did.
That's
then
right.
Rest of us doing to attack him
He did.
on the build up. Just
He did.
Because, do you want to rate it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going by memory here. I actually did enjoy this match. Power went out, so I didn't get to watch it today. But yeah, I enjoyed the match. I remember this one because then also Regal had an opening match with the same for the Intercontinental Championship the next year, right? With RVD.
18, yes.
Yep. And I remember,
Yeah.
both matches being good. So I'm going off memory though. Jericho and Regal was a good match, but I can't give specific details on the ending as far as being anticlimactic.
David, was your goddamn review?
Really, hey, it was a really fun opener. Could have
Was
been
it?
better if it got more time, but it was still damn good.
Hey, man,
Jericho sold the
7
arm
minutes.
well.
I
Regal
can't-
looked like a genius heel by targeting it, and there was some fun offense
yeah,
throughout.
he was
The
a genius.
crowd was red hot too.
Yeah, they
Three-
weren't red hot.
3.5
You have to be a
stars.
genius to target an injured arm.
Three.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
this. You guys just attacking so hard. I love it.
Yeah,
three and a
You're a
half.
genius when you do what a heel's supposed to do. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll just review Dave's review of the guy that reviewed it.
Yeah.
That's horse shit. That's what Cuz wants to say.
Hey, douchebag.
Oh,
Of course
so
you
good.
go after the arm that's injured.
We really don't know what we're dealing with here, man.
That's right,
So,
Terry. We
all right.
don't know what we're dealing with.
Dave, do you want to do
Terry.
the goddamn back? Didn't Shane McMahon come in a limo?
Yeah, that's what I heard. Shane McMahon arrives in a limo with a WCW1 license plate. He barely gets a pop because, well, he's the face, but he bought WCW, who was the enemy. Weird. The APA.
This fucking smarter than the
Are
room
in-
reviewer. Jesus.
The APA are in their office.
But WCW this and that, and that's why the pop is weird. Or maybe they had the audio down a lot. I don't know.
As a
Like, that could be it.
12-year-old, I have booking figured out, and I say,
And I know what's supposed to happen. The APA are in their office, and Bradshaw is hyped because WrestleMania is in his
Oh,
home
fuck him and his
state.
rehearsed fucking promo. It's the same town where blah, 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 blah,
He
we're naming a
pumps
bunch
up
of Texas
Farouk.
stars. Fucking
Wait,
idiots.
Don't
let's
forget,
back up.
he-
Jess, explain explain the interview and the vignette and the setting.
So they were. This is their classic where they're back playing. They're on the round table in the back and they're playing cards and they have the funny door, just the frame of the door set up because that's their APA office. And Jacqueline's back there and she's smoking a cigar and they're playing
Oh, yeah.
poker.
Good for her.
And I guess he was Bradshaw was annoyed that Jacqueline and Ron Simmons weren't hyped up for it being WrestleMania, and JBL's from Texas, so he gives this whole
It's
speech about
Is that why he was
You know,
annoyed?
Oh.
that's why I'm annoyed, Mr. Softbody JBL like up there.
Oh,
wow.
Fucking,
Man, don't worry about it. Look, hey, I'll tell you what, drink a beer. Look at Jackie. Relax my ass. You know what place we're in? This is Astrodome. This is where I used to come with my daddy and watch Bon Phillips in his cowboy hat because his mama said don't wear a hat indoors. Calling the place for King the Snake Stabler to hand off to Tyler Rose, Earl Campbell, while 70,000 people chanted, "Love you, Blue." This is the same place. A big corn-fed boy from Alvin, Texas.
Pillsbury Doughboy physique
I-
like up there.
Wow.
Sorry, I fucking
I
hate
feel like
JBL.
I'm insulted when you say that because I'm Mr. Softbody.
Yeah, but you're not up there going, hey, up here, and then you don't go and bully people and be a piece of shit, so you're fine.
And then get knocked out by Joey Styles.
I'm just
Yeah, they get
cuddly,
knocked
so
out by
it's
Joey
fine.
Styles. And then,
God.
so basically, yeah, so they did the whole thing, and then he's like, let's go. And Robin Simmons said, like, something, because I couldn't understand him when he walked by.
And
So-
damn, this is what
Damn.
probably happened.
And he walked out. So the next match
Damn.
is Taz and the APA. They defeated Right to Censor in a 6-man tag team match, only 3
With
minutes
Jacqueline and
52
Steve
seconds,
Richards, right?
with Jacqueline's heaving chest
Whoa.
coming out to the ring, which is
Whoa.
totally fine.
She was beautiful. Wow.
She was.
Jacqueline
3 minutes and 52 seconds is all it took for the APA and Taz to win. This was really a kind of a tight, fun brawl. I didn't have a problem with it. I was just still interested again. Like, why is it only 3 fucking and some odd minutes? Like, but they went out there. APA beat the shit out of him. So did Taz, and there you go. And Right to Censor, I say it every time. They're so underrated. I
They
didn't even
are.
appreciate him. I love this group, and I didn't even appreciate him until I go back and watch stuff now with them, and I'm like, God, man, like they were really good. Stevie Richards is so fucking good on the mic, and he's so.
Yeah.
Again, we never talked about him back then because he was just Raven's lackey for a long time,
In
and
the
then
Blue World
he
Order.
was just. Yeah, but he did so many good
WWF.
stuff. Like he was such
We
a
have
good,
to-
and he teaches wrestling right now, so he's
Mhm.
really gifted in the ring too. I really love Stephen Richards.
Yeah,
But,
I never
Highly
thought I'd ever
underrated.
like a Bull Buchanan move or match in my life, but he was.
He had some
really,
cool moves,
I couldn't take
cool
my
offense.
eyes off him.
I
here.
give it a thumbs in
I
the
had him
middle
wrong
only
for
because
years.
it wasn't longer, and I'm not saying I want it to be like 17 minutes or something like that, but I mean it was just, thumbs in the middle. It was fun. It was just a quick brawl, and it got Taz and EPA over, and there you go.
Oh.
So go ahead, Craig. Sorry.
Boom. Same. I
Great.
enjoyed it. I'd even give it a thumbs up.
Boom.
For 3 minutes and 13 seconds or whatever it was. Like they packed a lot in, and it was fun.
We have another
Trish
is that-
Stratus wheels
Oh.
Linda McMahon around when Stephanie McMahon interrupts to be her annoying self.
Stephanie asks her to, when they win, have champagne and strawberries, and then if Trish could crush the ice with a spoon, the ice is better that way. I actually kind of chuckled at Steph. I hated her little.
Stephanie was
good.
great.
Her
Stephanie's
crimped
funny.
hair,
You
but
know?
Stephanie's funny.
I
I'm gonna
liked,
I'm
she was
gonna
fine.
I'm gonna try that later. I'm gonna crush ice with a spoon and see if it tastes better.
So the next match is a triple threat match for the
Yes, now
Hardcore
this match I
Championship.
remember.
This match was 9 minutes and 17 seconds. It was Kane against Raven, who was the reigning Hardcore Champion, and the Big Show. Kane would defeat Raven to win the Hardcore Championship here. This was fucking fun, and the backstage stuff, I can't describe it. The golf cart thing made me laugh so hard.
Yes.
I don't know why, because Raven was just it's like he knew it was like, this is ridiculous, right? And I'm in there with two giants, so like Raven just totally he was he was so transparent and funny here, Raven, and like he took some shit though. Like he took a lot of bumps, and then he got thrown through the window.
The hardcore champion.
Raven being choked by Kane. Has Kane got a garden hose? Kane just threw Raven right through that window. Look at that. Oh, that. Big Show just knocked Kane through the door.
Hey, you want to play? Let's go, you! Come in! Can you imagine a 500-pound man whipping you around like that? And now he's held him by the feet!
Kane! With a huge hand around the throat of the Big Show. They fell right through the wall. Kane.
In the backstage area, which was awesome. And then the whole stage thing was nicely done when Kane kicked him when he was on Big Show's back and they both go falling down off the stage. It was good. I give it a thumbs up. The shit was fun. Craig, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yep. Also, definite thumbs up. They obviously took some pre-planning to get this done. All the backstage stuff was solid. Extra rooms, windows. Raven, I always was indifferent about him, but you could in this match, he was a lot of fun. Took a lot of bumps, and then even funnier than him riding the golf cart is there's a moment where he gets in the golf cart, and then Kane and the ref follow in a golf cart, even though they're probably only 5 yards away, and then that ends with him actually Raven getting hit by the golf cart. So it's all such fun.
Or Big Show.
I give it a thumbs up.
Because
I give it a thumbs up because I do remember this match. It's a very underrated triple threat for hardcore rules. But the action was all over the place. It was fun. I loved seeing it was Kane. Did he wrapped like a hose around Raven, right? And then threw him through the window, chucked him through the window.
Yes, yeah.
And then the golf cart and everything. Yeah, great match. I give it a thumbs up.
Thanks,
5
Chad
stars.
Melts.
Oh, Dave, what's the next segment?
Backstage, Kurt Angle is obsessively rewatching himself tapping out to Crispin. Edge and Christian come in to chat, but Angle is too focused because it wasn't an official match. It's not an official tap out in his mind.
Good stuff. The next match is
Nobody
Eddie
gets stuff.
Guerrero. Eddie Guerrero with Perry Saturn challenging Test for the European Championship.
Test.
8 minutes and 30 seconds. Eddie Guerrero will defeat Test here and win the European Championship. This is so hard for me to say, but it just didn't click. I felt like the booking, like when they faced off at the beginning of the match, Test is such a fucking giant next to
He's a
Guerrero.
monster.
He was
It
awesome.
was,
by the
it
way.
was distracting, and I did like Test. It's funny. I know he
I
doesn't
liked
get
him too.
like the respect he deserves, but he was massive here, and he looked great. He always had a good look and everything. And they tried hard, and Eddie was actually close to getting let go by the company here because of issues. Because I remember he had like a
Because he lies and cheats
2002
and steals.
he likes cheats and steals.
Yeah.
And it's I always say it too. I always praise him in our WrestleMania 19 preview. I went crazy about praising him. But it hurts my soul when I see an Eddie Guerrero match that doesn't click, and this was one of them. Only because I have such a high standard for him and what he does in there, and I know he was dealing with a lot of personal shit and stuff backstage. And like I said, he was real close to getting let go here for a couple of years in WWE before he came back and righted the ship. I gave the match a thumbs down. It never got out of first gear for me. I'm glad he won, but like I could just tell like he was struggling to carry Test, and the size difference was weird, and they didn't play it like a giant versus small man, like where Test just bumped him all over the place. They really didn't, and they should have, because I think that would have been the right thing to do. And Saturn could have got involved and had the 2-on-1 advantage, and that's how Eddie wins. It was just too distracting for me. Really, every time they stood straight up next to each other, I was like, God damn, Test is huge and Eddie is so not. So like it was unfortunate. I give it a thumbs down. I know I'm probably going to be the minority on that one, and I love Eddie, but I just felt that way about this match when I watched it. Craig?
Jess, I'm about to challenge you. I actually like this a lot, and it's not because of Test, and I don't think I've ever enjoyed a Test match.
Oh,
And I give this all to Eddie Guerrero and carrying this and making Test the best I've ever kind of seen him. And it's because Eddie took 75% of the damage. And Eddie got destroyed in this and then came up with the win. And I think I'm only giving it a thumbs up because I was so pleasantly surprised by it, not remembering this at all. Seeing Eddie take the damage that he did, and I was like, man, it's funny that you said he was almost gone from the company after this. He looked a bit reckless, and he was just not, almost not himself, like not as tight as he was. But he carried Test and took a lot of crap to make Test, and then still squeaked out the win. So I liked it. I give it a thumbs up.
Mick Foley is interviewed about being the special referee in the McMahon street fight later. He gets in a cheap pop because he's cool like that.
He is.
Where'd you go?
The next match is a singles match. Kurt Angle defeated Crispin.
This match I remember. 14
minutes and 4 seconds.
Chris
and
Benoit.
The year before, was it the year before? Yeah, the year before at Mania 2000, they had that three-way, Jericho, Benoit, and Angle for the European NIC title. And I remember being a little underwhelmed by that. This was the first singles match that Curtis Angle and Benoit had. I know they kind of dabbled on SmackDown and stuff before to set this match up, but I've read other people say that this was the quote unquote worst, and that word sounds way harsher than it needs to be of all their matches, because we would know that they would just continuously put out major matches. But this match was 14 minutes and 4 seconds. I loved this goddamn match. Like, I loved it. I loved the amateur style stuff in the beginning.
Yes.
Angle's eyes were legitly puffed because, like, every time he stood up, like they were going at it very hard with each other. This was as a Benoit fan from Japan and WCW, when he finally got his time in WWF, I loved this match because I knew it was a test for him. I knew that they were actually letting him do what he did, and obviously he had to kind of slow his style down as like the years went on, and then he would eventually win the world title in 2004. But I love the fact that they finally, I think they were trying to let Benoit in here, if that makes sense. Let him into the club. And what better person? And then you see Angle, who would later on this year win his first world title, was just already amazing. Like how good was Angle here? He was only in the company for like 2 years at this point, and he was fucking stellar. He's amazing. This match was just fucking great, and they slowly built it. It's a regular singles match, no gimmicks, nothing, like no titles on the line or anything, and the crowd was still into it 100%. Was this like the quote unquote worst match of all their matches after this? Okay, I mean, I agree with that, but you got the word worst sounds worse than it is. They were just feeling each other out here, and they put together like a mat classic. They just wrestled, and when in doubt, just wrestle. And I loved it. I absolutely loved this match. It was awesome. Craig, go ahead.
Yeah.
So that was a thumbs middle then, or
that was a goddamn thumbs up.
No, it was thumbs down.
Not only we've talked about it before, go back in the archives and listen to Legacy of Kurt Angle, but not only does he make Benoit here, and not only does he show the intensity of dude that you can tell, like in the first
makes Benoit,
couple minutes.
He makes Benoit, but Benoit's been wrestling for 10, 15 years at this point, whatever.
But you have to prove Benoit is the problem.
Right, but
makes
that's a good
Benoit
point by Craig's
WWE,
part.
I guess, yeah.
Kurt Angle was WWE, and like he was only in the business for 2 years, and he made Benoit. I agree with that statement. It's just so profound. Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah. But a couple of seconds before they started, Kurt Angle is doing comedy and talking and shitting on Texas with a microphone on his entire way down the ring.
Fantastic.
So he goes from that to switch the mindset to complete intensity, matching like emotion to emotion with Benoit, and it's just kind of like killer attitude. It's a great match. It's intense. Like that's intensity was all about Kurt. Like this was a good match. Thumbs up.
Again, the waist lock and the low blow. Angle got the low blow in. Armbar takeover. Angle hit the tights. Angle got the cradle, but I think he had the torment. Kurt Angle has defeated Crispin at WrestleMania. But by God, I
Cuz, you want to read your review, or Dave?
No, I remember this one. So yeah, this I think it was one of the first ones of their. Or actually, this is their first pay-per-view one out of their many matches. I think the Unforgiven one is my favorite match, but this one was really good. Kurt Angle, when he came out and made fun of the cowboy hats, and just all of the suplexes, the counter holds. I think even Paul Heyman said something like, "Oh, it was one of the best, display of counters and holds I've ever seen in my life." It's one of my favorite matches. Not, I like the Unforgiven one the best. I think that is still probably considered their best too by a lot of people. But this match is thumbs up all the way for me.
If you had to put a rating on this match, like a Meltzer rating, where would you guys put it?
I would say 5-star.
Yeah, I was gonna say 4.5 to 5.
That's why you're
I guess you're right.
And that's why you're gonna get really upset right now.
Oh wow.
Awesome stuff here.
Great.
Also
Fuck
much
this
better
crap.
than I remember. They would go on to have better matches for sure, but the booking here is pitch perfect. Benoit looks like the best wrestler in the world, and Angle still manages to win as a smarmy heel. 3 3/4 stars.
If it's perfect, then how? What? I don't know. Yeah. This fucking makes sense.
Yeah, and they didn't flub at all. Like, so if the booking is pitch perfect and they didn't flub at all, how is this not like a 4-star?
Yeah. 3 3/4 because
3 3/4
I'm a Meltzer.
He wants to be
I'm a
cool.
Meltzer wannabe, so
wants to
it's
be
all
cool.
good.
Pitch perfect, 1 star.
Yeah, might as well.
William Regal is freaked out backstage because Kamala, or for the rest of you, it's Kamala going forward. So just know that has trashed his office. That's it. It just hypes the Gimmick Battle Royal, I guess. Then we get clips of
What do you mean, I
WWF
guess?
doing.
Well, yeah, that's exactly what it does. What do you mean, I
guess?
guess? I guess it sets up the match that he's actually in later. I don't know. Like, fucking yes. That's why they did it, because Kamala's in the fucking Battle Royal later, you dumb asshole. Like,
Jess,
that's why
going forward,
I want to give
going
I give
forward.
this segment a 3 3/4 star because I don't know about why he was there. I guess.
Going forward,
I guess
it's
to
Kamala.
promote the match he
Get
was
that-
in. I don't know. Fucking dumb shit.
I don't know who Kamala the
Kamala.
Ugandan Hunter is, as I only started watching
he's the best
wrestling a
vice
year
president.
ago.
Then we get clips of the WWF
Before
doing
Dave,
stuff.
I'm sorry,
What?
I'm sorry, but
Yeah.
my wife was watching this with me, and Kamala's standing on the tables, holding up a photo of the Queen of England, and like slapping his belly. And my wife was like, "Oh, this doesn't hold up." I was like, "Yeah, you're right, sweetie. It
It
absolutely does not. It does.
He's holding it up right there.
Wrestling got away with a lot of things. Back
And
in the day.
Kamala
Yeah.
is not with us anymore. So
Then we
nice.
then we get
R.I.P. Bud.
Then we get clips of WWF doing stuff in Houston over the week. Kurt Angle gets interviewed
Okay.
backstage. So Benoit attacks him and puts him back in the cross.
physically, mentally. Oh God! So the next match is China.
Go check the dogs around the back of the yard.
China defeated Ivory, who was the reigning WWF Women's Champion here, but
China's
China
looking good
wins
here.
the title in a long marathon match, 2 minutes and 39 seconds. I've been listening a lot to Jim Ross's podcast lately with Conrad, and during this time, China was not happy with her contract, and she was not very happy. China did not want to wrestle women, and so she was really upset that she had to be downgraded in her mind to actually wrestle in the women's division. So China was a bit of a diva backstage, but China physically looked great here to me.
She did.
Ivory is awesome. We always talk about what an underrated heel she was. She was so fucking funny, even though the punches to the back of China's neck looked awful, like at the beginning of this match, but that's
Yeah.
fine. She was trying to respect China. She didn't want to fucking hurt her. Like she would have
Get her
hurt
ass
China.
kicked.
But anyway, so it was a real quick squash match, which I'm not a fan of on WrestleMania. China wins, and Jim Ross just has been saying recently in this podcast, it was all to protect Joni. It was all to protect Joni. So she was pitching a bitch fit and politicking back from what Jim Ross said.
Because as you know, Joni loves Chachi. So
She loves
Tony loves
Chachi.
Chachi.
So
That's
I
funny.
hate to say this, I give it a thumbs down because I wish they would have put more effort into it. They had a storyline behind it where they fought each other Royal Rumble, and then China did her little kind of copy to Muda thing where she threw someone in the corner and then she cartwheels into them, and she like quote unquote hurt her neck in the same fashion of where like Steve Austin, or not Steve Austin,
my neck.
Shawn Michaels, when he did the whole he kicked Owen Hart, and then he just passed out because he had a concussion from the Marines like a week before or whatever. Maybe I'm mixing stories because Michael's lies so much.
Pretty sure.
But,
I'm pretty sure Shawn lost his smile, and that was the down.
But yeah,
Lost my smile, Vince.
it was kind of to copy that or whatever. So this whole story build up and everything, and I think they barred right to censor from ringside, so it was just China and Ivory 1-on-1.
So are you saying that right to
it was a
censor
squash,
got
but
censored?
They did. They got sent the shit
yeah.
censored out of them.
The
So
right to
I
censor
understand
was-
the story that they told, and that's why it was so quick, because 1-on-1 Ivory's no match for China. I'm like, then don't do it at WrestleMania and put it for 2 minutes then, because it kind of
Maybe
degrades
you
everything.
put that on Raw, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I give it a thumbs down because I felt it could have been more. Don't ban right to censor. Let him come down. Let China throw the men around, right, to get the crowd popping or whatever. And then she finally gets Ivory at the end of the match and pins her. Like, that's okay. She can still express her dominance there. So Jim Ross's words, like,
You
it was
could
just
have.
to it was all to
You could have
protect
really
China.
had like a no disqualification
Protect
match
China.
where China was going to get interfered with a lot.
Yeah, and then she thwarts all of
destroys
it.
them all.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that? Yeah.
Steven
going to be
Richards will take
Craig.
bumps. Steven Richards will take bumps all over the place for you. Like, he'd be great at it.
I'm going to be Craig to you in
He
this
let
match.
Trish Stratusfaction her to him 2 years later,
Don't
right?
do it.
I'm going to be
do it.
Craig to you in this
Don't
match
do
like
it.
he was with Eddie and Test.
Okay.
Right to
Thought
Censor
we were
was
going in
feuding
that
with
direction.
everybody the year before, and we actually reviewed a pay-per-view not too long ago where China fought Val Venus. Long-standing feud from back then. Everyone was waiting for Right to Censor, especially Ivory, because of her character, the way she played it, to get, her comeuppance. And what better way to do it at WrestleMania? China, obviously, like you said, no Ivory, no match for China. That was what it was right there. I give it a
Well,
thumbs
I don't
up.
have a
I'm not going to
problem
give it
with
a
that.
thumbs
I'm
up.
just saying.
I'm
I'm
not
just
gonna give it a
saying
thumbs up, though.
the whole banning them and then making it 1-on-1
Yeah.
and then making it a squash
I-
match
I-
is pointless to me. Like, tell the story. Let her throw some men around. That'll get everybody popping.
Yeah.
If she wants to protect herself, let her beat 3 men and Ivory. Okay, like, that's fine with me.
I don't know. Like, I just
Thank you. Thumbs down.
if she was a
Thank you.
locker
Do
room
what you
kind of
gotta do.
cancer
Do what you got to do.
in the back or trying to protect her, but like they could have make it more 50-50 would have been a much better match. It didn't do any of those two
not
girls.
50-50 as in
better.
like they made it seem like Ivory was equal to China. I have no problem with them showing China's
Right.
dominance because she was obviously noticeably bigger, and
Right.
but yeah, like, bring the Right to Censor out there to throw that foil in
Yeah.
there. But then she clotheslines him all over the top rope or whatever, and then like it just backfires on Ivory, and that was Ivory's last ditch effort to fucking push China off, and doesn't matter. Then China gets her and squashes her or whatever. Like, I don't know. They could have done it better
Stick
because I used to be a
thumbs.
booker. So
Thumbs in the middle. Oh, yeah, you were. That's right.
So the next
10
match
years
is
after.
the beginning of the marquee matches here. Shanathan McMahon took on his father, Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
This match. right here.
Stephanie and a comatose Linda with Trish pushing her in a wheelchair. So the whole story up to this, I don't remember. It was some kind of drug mixture, like because Vince had been promiscuous or whatever, and he's Vince,
Yeah.
and a genetic jackhammer. Linda went into a depression, and didn't Vince fuck with her medication or something like that? Because he's having an affair with Trish, an affair on screen, maybe in real life. I don't know. Anywho,
Yeah, you can go ahead and take those quote hands off.
yeah.
You can probably-
Yeah.
So basically,
was legit.
the whole thing was like Linda just goes into depression. I can't remember if he changes her medication or what, but she's been comatose for like 3 weeks
forget.
leading up to this. And so Trish is just wheeling her around in a wheelchair with Linda sitting like Robert De Niro from Awakening. So basically, like Shane steps in and he wants to stop the tyranny of his father. Stephanie, of course, is a daddy's girl, and she's got to be in Vince's corner. So Mick Foley was made the special guest referee to make sure everything's fair. So I have my opinions about Shane McMahon. I hate the fact that Shane McMahon does super high spots because I like wrestlers to look like they're better athletes than us, because I think that creates the illusion of we can't do that, which is why we want to worship someone, or I don't want, maybe worship's the wrong word, but we want to look up to someone or whatever. So in Shane McMahon, not a good physique, and I'm not saying he was out of shape here. I'm saying not a good physique because he's a normal looking person here compared to other athletes and wrestlers. Gets in there and does a bunch of shits like the coast to coast and stuff. I hate it. Like, I've always disliked it. I've never gotten that about Shane. He's willing to jump off a building. That's cool. He's brave and shit. But I guess he felt he had to do it because he had to prove to his dad, really a little bit of real life here. He probably felt, fuck, okay. I think he did it more of a tribute. I think I shit on Shane a little bit more than I should, because I think the reason why Shane does this stuff is because he's like, dude, these athletes are going to disrespect me. Like, they're going to be like, you're the boss's kid. Of course, you're going to whatever. So Shane's like, fuck, I'll jump off of the highest thing I can to show you guys that I respect you and want to do what you do. So with all that in mind, and me going back on my opinion about Shane and everything, this match was fun. And I remember watching it 2001, Jess. This match was a fucking riot. Like, it was great. And the storyline's ridiculous, but yet every moment the crowd hinged on. I'll never forget when Linda stood up at the end of the match and she came, quote unquote, out of her coma. The pop she gets
when she does?
The place went nuts. Vince even obviously spread his legs more for her because he knew the crotch shot was coming. And I remember watching that live in 2001 and not caring because the crowd was so into it. They were into the storyline. It was amazing.
That's Vince's botch, though, right? Like, he had to remember to open his legs a little bit.
I don't think he needed to. Like, she knew what she had to do, but I think in his mind, again, it just shows what a perfectionist Vince is. Like, Vince wants everything perfect. So, and then when Foley finally started getting in there and going nuts or whatever, like, the place went nuts. Everything was done really, really well in this match. And then, yes, Shane did do the coast to coast at the end, the putting Vince in the corner, trash can in his face, jumping from the opposite rope like RVD does in the other side. And I have to give Linda credit when he hit it, the way she exhaled and like just kind of the whole, you know, he's been cheating on me for years and whatever, just kind of the storyline paid itself off. This was beautiful. And it was kind of shitty with the whole fact that Shane kind of owned WCW, and then they showed the luxury box upstairs with all the fucking C players in WCW up there, because that's all the contracts they could get at that point.
There's no way!
There is absolutely no way in hell Shane can do that. Oh my God! Shane with a drop kick! And he drop kicked the steel! The trash can right into the face of his father! The leg is hooked! And my God, it's over! Here is your winner, Shane McMahon! Absolutely amazing!
Absolutely amazing! And look at all the WCW suck-ups kissing Shane McMahon's ass! I don't like it! I don't like it one stinking bit!
They actually forgot to cut to the box. Like, they didn't have a camera there or something when Shane called.
Yeah, it was like a long distance shot or something, wasn't it? Or
he's
something
like, hey,
like that.
boys, say wait hi. And then, because then after that match, they did a whole bunch of close-ups in the suite or whatever. But it was like
it was like Stacy Keibler and Sean Stasiak and a couple other like mid-card wrestlers there. And I was like, oh, whatever. So the beginning of the botch of the invasion angle, by the way. But overall, this match, a thunderous thumbs up, man. Like, it was really fun to watch. And like, yeah, it was thunderous. And I liked it. As corny as it was or whatever, like, it just goes to show when wrestling's hot and you're engaged and they're doing the right things, you are into whatever silly, ridiculous Linda in a coma storyline like they want to throw at you. It's like a soap opera. It's fun. I loved it. Craig?
Yeah, much better than the 19 match, I think, with McMahon and Hogan. Only I think maybe because of length. I thought the
I don't know. We were talking about that.
The Hogan McMahon match was too long, in my opinion, for 19. This was less impactful, but shorter. But it seemed like to satisfy that crowd and the payoff of like Linda, like, and to Jess's point, like, what a cheesy soap opera angle to do it. But I mean, I'm sure the entire creative team, and I was thinking about this, I was like, why does everything he does work? And I think it works because when you're the owner of the company and you get the best camera angles and the most planned out, like, creative, and the most telling of the story, like, this was just pitch perfect. Like, Shane gets a welt on his eye early from his dad, stands up to him. Linda, I mean, she's just like, she's no actress, but like she played Comatose great. She never really broke. Vince, when he was like picking her up and screaming at her, I was like, it's like Vince is kind of a dick to his wife. Like, I bought into, and that's Vince. That's why Vince is the greatest heel of all time.
We all praised the whole, Vince coming up from the apron all bloody against Hogan.
Oh my God, that's great.
I forgot that Vince had that moment when Trish and Stephanie fought up the ramp and Linda was all alone, still comatose in the chair. And Vince looked up. He's like, you. Yeah, he's like, it was fucking. I laughed so hard. I was like, God damn it! Like, he's so fucking funny. Like,
and he picks her up like hard and throws her in the chair in the corner hard. Like, but when she stood up, 65,000 people. It was like rocking Austin, and I'm fine with that. Like, it was. God bless them. Like, it's their company, and like, and they take what they give. Great match. Thumbs up. Sorry if I upset people with the comparison that it was better than 19. But
Love you, Craig.
this
It was
great.
not. You're a piece of shit. It was not.
Whoa!
Dave, read the review.
It was a great. No, it was a great match. All the drama. I mean, you guys, how could people get into this soap opera drama? But everyone played their part. Fucking Vince, man. He's one of the main reasons why. If he wasn't such a great heel and such a piece of shit on screen, I don't think anyone would have cared. And then, yeah, when Linda stands up, they go crazy for that. And Shane does the, coast to coast. It was actually his first one that he did. Rob Van Dam actually said that Paul Heyman had said, because he said, no one asked me permission. He's like, Paul Heyman just said, "Oh, I showed Shane the video of your Van
Is that okay? After he does that.
He's all, and I just asked him, could you do that move? And he said, yeah. But RVD said, he's all, I was happy, but I'm also surprised that not a lot of people have taken a lot of my moves. But yeah, that was his first Van Terminator. It was pretty good though. It was a good attempt at it, or good.
It was the first time that
it.
like a broad audience, and it's ironic that they brought RVD in 4 months later or 5 months later for the Invasion pay-per-view.
Yeah,
and then he started doing all that stuff, and it's like it sucked because the first time he did it, everyone, I know all the hardcore WWF fans was like, he's copying Shane. I'm like, no, he's not fucking copying Shane.
Oh, come on,
fuck,
now.
like God,
No.
Come on, meow.
he invented all this stuff, fucking RVD. Like he was that good.
Yeah.
RVD was happy that he did that, but yeah, the match was great. I put it up there with the WrestleMania next.
So
do you mind if Shane O'Mac does it? I asked him if he could do it. He said yes, Rob.
Granted,
Thumbs
all my
up.
paychecks bounce to you.
Could you
and
imagine
there
Rob
are
just
also
going
some
like,
moves, but
I can see because this is Rob's impression, like just.
Yeah.
yeah.
He wouldn't give a shit.
He's like,
what, bro?
This cool.
In that same interview, RVD said he was high 100% of the time for his matches.
So the next match is for the WWF Tag Team Championships. Tables, ladders, and chairs match. 3 teams, Edge and Christian with Rhino in their corner. The Dudley Boys were the champions coming in here with Spike Dudley in their corner. And the Hardy Boys, Matt and Jeff with Lita in their corner. 15 minutes, 47 seconds. What the fuck do I say about this match? It's still talked about today. The Edge spearing Jeff. No, excuse me, Matt. No, Jeff. Yeah, Jeff. Edge spearing Jeff from the ladder when Jeff was hanging on the belt ring or whatever is still iconic. Everybody and everything in this shot. Then when you get all the corner people involved, Spike, Rhino, Lita took some sick bumps and everything. Rhino was nuts in here. Thumbs up. What am I gonna say? Thumbs in the middle. Like, it's ridiculous. This match is still it arguably ruined tag team wrestling going forward because it set the bar so goddamn high that we talked about it in past episodes that if you had a regular tag match, people were like, oh, regular tag match, boring. Like, but I mean, they defined a whole generation. They changed the way people did spots in wrestling, and like, god damn it, like this match was insane. I'm not even gonna talk about the different spots because they were all brutal. It was insane. This crowd watching this many people go nuts for this match was just thrilling. Oh
my God! And for the 20-foot ladder with a spear on Jeff Hardy. For the love of God, Jeff Hardy may be broken. Smack dab in half.
How much more? How much more can any of these 3 teams handle? How much can they?
1 1/4 start. No, I'm kidding. Thumbs up. It's fantastic. Craig, go ahead. What am I going to say? This match is great.
So, I don't. This is gonna be tough.
You piece of
Thumbs
shit.
down. I didn't. The pacing.
It's still
The booking was
I
the
can't.
booking was not pitch perfect.
I couldn't even attempt to get through with a straight face.
I
tried
really
sell
had
it.
to use the restroom and get a hot dog.
God, I'm sorry.
They really
this
messed
was
that up for
obviously
me.
the bathroom
2
match. 1 1/4 star.
I used to be an actor. I was just gonna be like the pacing. It just felt like a can I get my shit in match, like kind of a filler, like entry to. It just didn't. Everyone talks
thinking back about
but
it,
No,
it
it was,
should-
go back and watch it. Fantastic.
Yeah.
That's what you sounded like. Right?
Yeah.
Thinking back, it should have been the dark match actually on this pay-per-view. I don't know
Oh,
why it was
God.
They
on
break
Yeah,
their
you know what?
bodies. This has some of the greatest spots in the history of the
Should've been a
thing.
house show match.
It's not even just a 6 guys; it's 9 that come in, and it's amazing. I just don't know how these guys wake up and then do Raw the next day
As much as you hear about this match and the way the legends talk about this match,
it's a lot of rehab and falling off the wagon. Craig is what I heard.
A lot of you are son of a bitch. It's as much as you hear about this match, as much as it's talked about. You know, when things are overhyped, a lot of people go back and watch them. And they're like, it was overhyped so much, it wasn't as effective on me as it should have been. You can go back. I can hype this up until I'm blue in the face, and you'll go back and watch it and be like, that was stellar. Yeah. That was breathtaking, and it's great.
This match makes an era and makes a genre of matches. It's just.
I'll say it still holds up to today's standards as far as high spots and hardcore, and it's better than a lot of the stuff that goes on today.
It's better than what's happening now.
Thumbs up for sure. Even with all the outside interference, everyone took their spots too. Everyone that interfered in the match, Spike, Lita, Rhino.
Yeah, Dave, I don't give a shit about your guys' opinion. Yeah, what's the next segment?
Fuck that guy.
He did 5-star for you.
That's good.
Oh, my wife did not like the whale tail thong, and she thought it was tacky when she saw it on Lita. And I said, "Well,
that was
you're wrong," and this worked for me.
and we're getting a divorce now.
Well, you're wrong, and I want to separate.
She took her shirt off and everything. It was great.
So good. Gimmick Battle Royal, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, the Gimmick Battle Royal is next. It's 3 minutes, which I knew it was quick, but Jesus Christ.
Battle Royal was 3 minutes.
It was, you have to go back and watch it to...
wow, I didn't know that.
The Iron Sheik ended up winning it. He could barely walk, and Bobby Heenan had the goddamn... So first of all, the thing is Heenan was under contract for WCW, but since they bought out WCW, Heenan was able to make an appearance here with Gene Okerlund. They both were commentators for the Battle Royal. Again, the first time that Vince, since before the Monday Night Wars, actually referenced his past, even though he was referencing ridiculous characters from his past. I just was so... I remember watching it in 2001, being so fucking happy to see Gene Okerlund back on WWF television and Heenan. It was awesome. And Heenan's line of the night was when, at the beginning, they were announcing each person one by one. And when Sheik got announced, he was in bad shape here. And he had those big fucking curly-toed shoes on, too. So he took forever to walk down to the ring, and then it was a throwaway comment. They go to the next person's entrance, and Sheik's still barely in the middle of the ring, or the person after him.
Yeah.
And Bobby Heenan goes, by the time the Sheik gets down the ring, it's going to be WrestleMania 18. And it was fucking, it was awesome. But just,
I love the break.
I will go back and watch it. And when I went back and watched it this past week for research for the show, I just watched the crowd members, when they would cut out to the crowd. Every character that came back, people were standing up and smiling, grown adults, and they were just like clapping or whatever. And this is their childhood. It was their childhood. It was my childhood. I came up in wrestling during like Kamala and those guys in the 80s and everything. And I know they threw like the Goon in there and shit like that, but it was just really cool. Jim Cornette was in this fucking Battle Royal. Michael Hayes, like it was really cool. Doink the Clown, Earthquake. Doink the Clown got a huge ovation. Like, it's just crazy.
Don't forget the
Gobbledygook. Hillbilly Jim got a thunderous ovation. Like, it was crazy. And then Sheik ends up winning or whatever. And then Sergeant Slaughter comes back in, and puts him in the camel clutch or whatever. Not the camel clutch, but the whatever sleeper hold that he did. Yeah, Cobra Clutch. There you go. And put him down. It was just a cool tribute to the 80s and stuff. And I felt finally Vince was, I won this fucking thing. Like, this whole
according to this comment, Sheiky Baby wins purely because he couldn't take the bump over the top.
I was going to say that's exactly what I thought when I saw him walk down.
Yeah, good point. And then, but they could have done it if they wanted to eliminate him, really, where people were outside catching him or something like that. They could have done something like that. But
One star.
I give it a thumbs up because you're not going to rank it on the ladder match or whatever like that. Honestly, to give it a 1 star means you're fucking stupid and shallow. Like, honestly, like, just why would you rate this? Like, what does your 1 star mean? Like, it wasn't meant to be any kind of technical wrestling match. This was pure fun. It's a thumbs up for fuck's sake. Like, 5 star. Fuck you. How about that?
I'm starting to feel a little, ganged up on here.
I don't fucking like you, Dave.
You know what? I'm afraid to not say anything but thumbs up on that. Yeah, thumbs up.
He just got so upset about it.
It was for fun. It was for goddamn fun.
No,
why would you give it 1 star?
I'll give it 5
John
stars.
Tenta didn't look sick at all. It was awesome.
Oh my God! No, you did not talk about Jesus Christ! Oh my God!
Oh shit!
No. 100. I want.
And by the way,
I agree with Jess.
If anybody that's listening to this podcast is not following Sheik on on Twitter,
he's great.
Do yourself a favor.
Oh my God! All right, so
enjoy.
There was a
tribute
montage
to all those guys. Like, good to see him. Get him a payday. Like anything that gets them money.
To see
like, God
Hey,
bless
Craig.
him.
Hey, Craig. They worked really hard, right?
They worked hard.
To
Thumbs in the
Jess's
middle.
point, like
It's fucking
for
thumbs
Vince
up.
to loosen up here and let this happen must have been a huge thing.
Well, they
Like,
needed the cooldown from that TLC.
All right,
you know?
let Kamala.
They needed the cooldowns. Yeah, good.
I don't want any fatties. I don't want any cakes.
Hey, because if you're gonna have a cooldown, that would be the cooldown of all cooldowns.
And a laugh,
Yeah.
little chuckle,
Little giggle for
little
you.
comedy segment. I give it a thumbs in the middle.
So the next, it was a video package of the Undertaker and Triple H feud. This is the first of their legendary matches. They're first of three WrestleMania matches that they had. 18 minutes, 19 seconds.
Wait,
I
did
wanna
they go
re-
3 in a row here? What
Huh?
year? Did they? See, I wondered that. Was this was not the beginning of their one of two?
No, they had 3 matches total.
No, they had
They
three
had
matches
3,
total,
but
yeah.
this wasn't.
They
this
never
wasn't
talk
one of
about
the
this one, though.
back-to-backs.
No, this was not the first match of their, because later they had a singles
Back-to-back,
match, Taker won. Then the next year they had the Hell in a Cell and Taker won. So no, it wasn't part of that package. This was the very first match that they ever
Got it.
had. And
Got
as
it.
a fan, 2001 Jess, I was legitimately not looking forward to this. Like I don't know why. But
I didn't care for it
Motorhead
at
played Triple H
No.
out, and that was incredibly awesome to me.
Paul's dick.
I'm on the fence because, like, you know, you should really hate your heels, but when he came out, like, the place actually went
To
nuts for him.
Motorhead, yeah.
Especially when Motorhead played him down. It was a great entrance, but I was on the fence because I'm like, dude, you're a fucking heel.
Time
And,
to
like,
play the game.
they're portraying you like a goddamn face rock star
Time to
right
play
now.
the game.
But and then Taker comes out on his motorcycle. This match was fantastic. This match was excellent. I didn't see it coming as 2001 Jess, and when I watch it now, everything was good. So except for them panning down to show how padded it was when Undertaker chokeslammed Triple H off the fucking like grid in the middle of the arena,
Yeah.
which was awesome because the chair shots were awesome on that thing. Like everything was awesome. They shouldn't have panned down because it showed that they literally had like mattresses down there to catch him. But in the beginning, when Taker did it, he just threw Triple H off camera and the place went nuts. They were chanting, holy shit. They were chanting everything. Then they showed the replay and then it showed Triple H hit the mattresses and bounce. I was like, God damn it. Like, why'd you have to show the replay? Like, it was, you know what I mean? Like, he threw him off screen.
Yeah, good point.
Leave it to the imagination. And at the end, the sledgehammer shot was a thing of beauty.
That's quite genius.
Jesus, like that with the sleight of hand, the way he switched it and hit him with the handle. Triple H, in other words, Triple H picked him up, and it was a quick motion where you thought that he hit Undertaker in the face with the sledgehammer,
But
the
he spun
steel
it. He spun it
part
to
of
the
hammer.
wood side.
But when you watch the replay, he spins it just expertly. He could have dropped that, and then what would you have done? Like, but he spun it around perfect and hit Undertaker right in the face. And when you saw it live, it looked like he hit him right in the face with the sledgehammer. Absolute genius shit.
There are days when you hate how great Triple H is.
He was here, and so was Taker.
Like in the
Taker's
clutch moments,
bleeding,
right?
And then he picks him up out of the corner into the last ride powerbomb, which I love the last ride powerbomb because he picks him up over his head and slams him down, pins Triple H clean.
grips him in.
So good, so good. Thumbs up. This match was this was a perfect WrestleMania match, if that makes any sense. Like this was just lovely, and it had to follow the street fight, had to follow the TLC match, which everybody knows what that match was. And man, like they still got the crowd on.
They got a battle royal cooldown. It was all good.
That's true too. But like, yeah, it was awesome.
This says my favorite of their 3 WrestleMania matches, though it seems to be the forgotten.
I may not argue with that.
My only gripe is that the punches in the corner for the finish seemed very convenient for the last ride, and the referee was down for an unrealistically long time. Other than that, this is a fantastic brawl.
It's good booking. It's good storytelling.
Oh,
it's so convenient. So when Jake Roberts hits anyone with the DDT, wow, it's so convenient that they dip their head for him. Yeah, it was so convenient.
You already said that you agreed with him and love him, Jess.
You're right. You're fucking right. And I take it back and I'm wrong. Yeah. How convenient after Hogan gives the big boot. How convenient they're laying there for the leg drop. Wow.
4 and a quarter feel good to you? 4 and a quarter?
God.
How convenient when
That's
a
fine.
prone
I agree
wrestler
with that
lets
rating.
arms be kicked in
How
by
convenient
The Rock.
after Macho Man slams his opponent, he goes for the rope and they're just laying there for his big elbow drop. How convenient. What the fucking
a
stupid.
lariat? Really? Sorry.
Fucking stupid. Like the guy says dumb things.
Irish whip? That's not real at all.
Yeah.
That's not realistic.
The last ride too wasn't really. I mean, he barely started kind of using it, right? Like right here is when he started like really using it more going forward as his.
I think he always used it as the biker taker.
yeah,
Yeah.
because he did Tombstone when he first came back.
He also did the last ride too. When
Yeah.
he came, yeah.
But I know he had a Tombstone in this one too. But yeah, I think it's
Triple
as
H
far as
kicks.
wrestling goes, I think it's probably my favorite out of all three. Of the
I like
matches
this match
it is.
better than the Hell in the Cell match. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I do too. I do too, actually. But
Yeah.
I liked it.
That,
I actually
that sledgehammer is genius.
back then, right here too, because we weren't thinking about the streak yet. Even though Jim Ross says like, "Oh, he's 9-0" or whatever.
I think he's never been beaten. I don't know. Paul, hey, can you check on that?
I remember thinking back then though, like, "Oh, Triple H is going to win this one, I bet," and like not even thinking like, "Oh, he's not going to win it because of the streak." But yeah,
right. No, that's a
and you
very
didn't even
good
think
point
about that
because, like,
here.
yeah, they didn't. You're right.
They weren't even talking.
They
about
weren't
the streak
thinking
yet.
about it.
JR mentions it on commentary, but yeah, it
Here?
wasn't like a thing until Randy Orton, until him and Orton had when he went 12-0 or whatever against.
Well, it was
Orton.
after 18. Taker himself said after 18, when he beat Flair, he gets on the apron and pose for the camera, and then he did the whole like he counted on. his hands
that's
and
right.
put
Yeah, you're
10 up,
right.
and then Taker said that's when it registered to him. Oh my God, I'm 10-0. So
Yep.
Taker did the whole hand thing, and then after that, Vince is like, "You haven't been beaten, have you?" Like it just all kind of like,
You don't take her has been beaten at Mania.
You
give it a thumbs up.
Thumbs
Thumbs up, by the way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thumbs
that was
up.
great. Did
All
Craig
right,
did you
all
give the rating, or was I
right.
babbling?
Craig's got to do
Sorry.
his rating still. He's going to be a
You
one.
wanna
He
hear
gives
my
a thumbs
opinion?
down.
I did.
No.
There we go.
Yeah, it was good.
Yes.
Triple H worked hard.
Right.
What'd you
Thumbs
say?
up.
Nice of you to join us.
He's real
Move
pissed.
on.
Give it a thumbs up. Wait, say it again. What'd
Move
you do?
on.
What's
Yeah,
the rating
thumbs
on
up.
that one?
What? Thumbs
Name me,
up?
talk about some of the good things Triple H did, if you don't mind.
Yeah,
Yeah, Dave.
Why are you so mean to Craig like that? You know.
Oh, like
I like Triple H's entrance.
There you go. After shots of The Rock and Steve
liked
Austin
his boots.
separately walking
They
to
were
the
nice.
arena, the incredible My Way video highlighting their feud is shown. I still get goosebumps.
Yeah. So we're gonna do this.
It's
We're gonna go
my
right
way.
to the
The
main
video
event.
package is awesome.
Yes.
My
yes.
way,
Yeah.
my way. It is a great
Video package.
This
alone
time,
thumbs up.
gonna let it all hang out. Okay, it was a great video package, and it was a great video package. And by the way,
It's my way.
they dropped it on everybody that it was a no disqualification match as Howard Finkel was announcing it. 'Cause as
By
you can
the
tell,
way, this
no,
is
he's
a
like
no.
the following contest for the World Championship, and it is a no disqualification. And Jim Ross said, "What? Who hit that? Who
That's not
said?"
about no time in the production meeting. But what's the story behind that?
Is Vince
Why
gonna
did they
fire
announce
me?
it
I
like
didn't know about that.
Is that
I
just the way
honestly
that-
think
but
they
booked
just
it that
did it.
day?
No, I don't. I truly don't. Hear me out here. Because if it was WCW, I would agree with you, Craig, that they just came up with it like an hour before. But I really think they didn't want to no DQ it in the beginning to set the stage that people are going to run down. I don't think because they hyped the whole match that it's Austin Rock, like the whole time. So they wanted to protect the Austin heel turn that you would actually see coming. So if they did a whole no disqualification, I think that people would think, well, people are
Alright.
going to run down. And Vince has been feuding with Stone Cold, so that's going to happen. I think they really hit
You know
it.
what? That's brilliant. That's actually
I believe
brilliant.
that.
That's it. That's the answer.
I don't
You're
think that
right.
they booked it on the fly. Again, if it was any other promotion, I would be like, no, they absolutely totally did.
All right, Triple H was great. He was always great. He was great in all three of Undertaker's matches. He's fantastic.
So,
he
the
tells a
main
great story.
event-
He's always been good. What do you want me to say, Jess?
The main event was for the WWF Championship, the second of 3 matches between Steve Austin and The Rock. The Rock was champion here, 28 minutes and 8 seconds. This was the best of their 3, no questions asked. Even though the Austin heel turn did not end up really working out, it was Austin insisted that he turn heel. It was all Austin's idea because he felt he was getting stale as a face, especially after he came back from his injuries. Like, dude, there's so many other people that like The Rock's gotten over, other people have gotten over. So Austin was like, I feel stale. I want to be heel. I don't like the fact that he sided with Vince, even though maybe looking back in hindsight, it kind of is a natural progression of the storyline. But considering that they rescued the WWF and they robbed the momentum from WCW by that feud because of McMahon and Austin, like that took as high as WCW was, it allowed WWF to leapfrog them and go into the stratosphere. WCW went out of business. Like, they rode this feud as hard as they could. I understand the thought process behind it. Let's put them together. Let's make Austin and Vince team up together. And the reason why Austin, and the reason why Austin did that was because Austin, I love the focus on the title. Austin's whole thing was like the WWF Championship means everything to me. I love the fact that they made it about the title. And looking back, of course, you could just say, well, yeah, the heel turn didn't work out. But at the same time, like when it happened, when we all saw it happen, it was crazy. Like, it was like what the ending shots, the multiple chair shots he gives The Rock here, like, was insane. Like, this match was great. Like, you talk about hyping main events and then the main event delivering. This match did not let anybody down. In my opinion, I don't know if anybody who's ever said it was kind of a letdown there, WrestleMania 17 match. It was a great match. You could talk later about the heel turn, about how it didn't work for you, which is fine. It's a separate conversation. But man, this match was so good. Both these guys were good. I mean, really, like The Rock and Austin.
Yeah,
they were
okay.
I mean, and just, Austin coming back from the neck injury and getting back into the swing of things here and being at full form here. And I know, he didn't last much longer after this, Austin, but at the same time, like, man, like, just to see him win the title again and be on top. And then The Rock was actually going to go away and film a movie. That's kind of why they pulled it off him here and everything. But they did this so well. Nobody saw it coming. Nobody could say they guessed it. Nobody, anything like that. So again, you could judge the heel turn afterwards as something separate, but this match is a thumbs up. Like, what a great main event after all we just talked about, the TLC match, the street fight, the surprisingly fantastic Taker and Triple H. Like, this match still delivered in the main event. What do you say? Love letter to the Attitude Era? Absolutely. Craig?
Yeah, thumbs up. 28 minutes, almost half an hour. Like, both of them bleed. Austin bleeds like a stuck pig. There's tremendous. The crowd is with the entire time. McMahon walks out in the end, about 15 minutes left. What's happening? You're still not sure,
gear, right? Wasn't he still dressed?
He's still wearing the same, that cutoff sweatshirt and like red shirt, t-shirt underneath. Like, but Rock, Austin should have given Rock bleeding lessons. Rock seems to have a very small, like, he got the cut going sometimes, but Austin, just like Brett in WrestleMania 13, bled forever, and it almost just took him 10 seconds to get like Crimson Mask back. Like, it's impactful. Like, on this kind of stage with both those guys bleeding for over half the match.
The Rock was like, come on, this moneymaker, come on. I'm going to do a little...
I swear, like I said before in a podcast here, like, I don't remember Rock cutting himself a lot, but a lot of what we've seen lately is Rock did blade quite a bit. I think he just did it right. With the right amount that he needed for that time. Knowing that he's about to leave and do Scorpion King and to bleed like here, like... But I will say Austin also walked down to the ring, and the top of his head about right here, he had fresh cuts ready to go.
All I'm saying is,
sorry, Dave,
Rock just had to put it just
forgot
above
to say
at
the beginning, I know they were both faces technically coming into this match or whatever, but the people did start booing The Rock because it was Texas and Austin's from Texas. Austin's entrance was awesome when he came out. Like, just that
I got goosebumps today.
Yeah, the way he walked out, and I love the Disturbed version. By the way,
19 years later,
I actually do too. Yep,
I think it's my favorite theme that he had, or whatever. Step
up
like, it was awesome. Yeah.
Okay, so this is a problem. I don't agree with that at all.
You like the classic?
I like the original one better, but still,
I love the classic. I think for this time, and when I heard this back today, I was not expecting the Disturbed version, and it did work for me. But I can't.
You know what y'all sound like right now?
What do we sound?
Bunch of nerds.
Actually,
we're music nerds.
Actually, the Disturbed version
music
that was
and
6
wrestling
months before was just
the Rock version 7 was actually the best one. If you smell what The Rock, it goes. If you smell what The Rock is cooking,
Dave, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Fuck you, Dave.
But that's why we love it.
What the hell is this? What the hell is this? What the hell is Austin face to face with McMahon? They're shaking hands! No, Cole is shaking hands with Satan himself! What a love!
So we can debate.
Read your smarmy crap.
Yeah,
right
yeah.
now.
But it's Chad Taylor.
I had a joke, Jess, but you ruined it too.
You fuck.
Better bring up some good points in this one. I still gotta do mine.
God damn it, say you fuck.
An absolute blistering match. It is not stop action.
Wow.
Yeah.
And the two biggest stars in the company just go to war.
Wow, they
There's an
blast
epic
each other.
atmosphere, and both guys showed how incredible they are.
Did
The
they?
heel turn at the end soured this for me, especially
yeah.
going back and knowing that it was a bad decision. Still, though, this is
Crying
the
your blood,
greatest
me?
main
Yeah.
event in WrestleMania history. 4 3/4 stars.
Oh, excuse me.
Steve
Wait, read
Austin.
that again. Stop. Read that again right now.
What do you say?
Still, though, this is the greatest main event in WrestleMania history.
That's not true, but go on.
4 3/4 stars. Steve Austin shakes
not
hands
true.
with Vince McMahon or Satan himself.
He gives it
As
3/4
Jim Ross is
stars.
4
and
3/4
Oh, 4.
stars.
Okay, I was gonna say, idiot, but him, not you. Wow.
Nerds.
This match is my favorite of their three. I do like the buildup of the third match because it was about Rock never beating Austin at Mania.
And I did like the third match too.
But it was that was a good match though. Still, but this is still my favorite one. Even like they're kind of rolling through history there. Everything from Rock getting Austin on the sharpshooter with the bloody face, the crimson face, Austin applying the $1 Million Dream, and then Rock almost, pinning him, kind of like how Bret Hart pinned Austin in '96. Like they were going through history right there. And that was a great cap off on the love letter to the Attitude Era. Obviously the heel turn. At first it was like, what the fuck? But then after we saw what it became, but thumbs up. It's the best match of WrestleMania history.
So and to hype the next review we're gonna do, Hogan and Andre is the biggest main event in WrestleMania history. So
Yeah.
fuck off. Like it's ridiculous.
All
maybe
right,
the biggest.
Anything
settle,
else?
Best.
settle,
Wait,
settle
wait,
down.
best or biggest?
This is that was the biggest. This is the
and
best.
biggest.
Mhm.
Oh, brother.
That's on you, Jess.
So where do you? I mean,
gonna do that.
do we? Craig, I know you wanted to bring something into the end here, but it's pretty obvious. It's a thumbs up pay-per-view for
Pay-per-view.
everyone here.
Thumbs up.
It's
Yep.
it's arguably the greatest WrestleMania ever.
So
Everything was
we
pitch
got to debate
perfect.
it, right? We got to debate it. So the
Yeah.
argument
Oh.
is there's been other good
Thank you.
WrestleManias. I'm not suggesting there hasn't been. People, for the most part, say that 17 is the best, but a lot of people have been saying that 19 is the best, and we've already reviewed 19. Does anybody here think that 19 is better than 17?
Hey, yes.
Okay.
Because, and I will tell I found much more enjoyment watching 19 than I did 17. 19 kicked off quickly, kept its pace, and the roller coaster journey was very very even. This WrestleMania did not get cooking until match 5, and then went down, and then but the last 4 or 5 matches are incredible, and you can't take that away. But as far as overall whole show, best WrestleMania, and this was, and I will say also, I said it before, this was more tightly produced and better, get to the action, cut back, interview, real tight. But 19 overall, I skipped a lot less in 19 than I did skip in 17.
Because you're
Watching
very
it back.
stimulated. I see your face right now. You want to
Well,
go.
I was gonna say I think WrestleMania 17 is probably bigger and probably remembered that way as far as being the best because of the main event, and you had a lot of good matches on there. But I think WrestleMania 19, they didn't have as many throwaway short matches as WrestleMania 17, and they had more like you had Brock Lesnar, Kurt Angle, you had Rock and Austin, McMahon and Hogan, Triple H and Booker T.
That still pisses me off.
I think there was probably better work. It was probably a better work as far as work rate goes on 19, but WrestleMania 17 was just more of a, I don't know. It felt bigger. It felt bigger than 19, but 19 felt like it had more of the work hard, fucking aspects to it.
I'm incredibly
And that's
biased to
true.
it because of a
don't know.
Rock Angle main
I still like
event.
17.
So
I mean,
Yeah,
as far as
I mean,
history
that's fair.
goes, for this to be 1 week after they buy WCW and what's to come, and it's almost like this threshold of moving into the new era where they own everything.
There-
I totally get.
There was more buzz around
why
the 17 than 19, but like I said,
Yeah,
19
like,
had just
it was
had the big names.
it was world peace every it's going to sell a lot.
Just
of
living through it, I think the reason why is because in actuality, these manias were only 2 years apart from each other, 17 and 19.
Yeah.
So just living through it, I saw WrestleMania 17. I was so amazed that like it delivered. Not only delivered, but it fucking hit a grand slam. And so just 2 years later, I see another fantastically awesome WrestleMania in 19.
Yeah.
For years, I think I ranked 17 in my mind over 19. But watching these back to back for this show, I 100% agree with Craig. 19 from beginning to end was a better product. Like it was just better. It was
the better work rate.
The work rate and
we're all seriously churning over that way. Huh?
Better, longer matches.
And I never thought I would actually go that way. I always was like so. Like
the thing that's really interesting too is that tag title match could never be duplicated ever again. They try, but it's
no. And there was a lot of great stuff. Don't get me wrong. Like talking
Yeah.
about the TLC match and the Austin Rock main event. I mean, that's hard. But then you look at 19. I don't. I just flip flopped. I just.
Yeah. It is
19,
hard.
I think it might be. I don't disagree. If somebody came to me and said 19 is the best, I'd be like, I can't.
You've always said that, Jess. You won't really fight them on it. You're like, yeah, I understand why you feel that.
Actually, you said that during the 19 podcast.
Yeah.
You said I won't
did.
fight people on it.
Yeah, because like watching it back, especially now, Jess at 43 years old, I'm like 19 was pretty fucking legit.
Yeah.
Like that might be the best.
From kind of new, fresh eyes, being fans.
I'm telling you,
that's a good point.
I think if Booker wins that title match, I made the argument on 19. If Booker wins that title match, I think it's less of an argument. I think,
and I think like if you put like a study group in a room or whatever of just people in their 20s that are wrestling fans, and you show them 17 and 19, I think the majority of the people will vote for 19. Like it's a little bit more. I don't know. I can't say relevant because it's only 2 years apart from each other. But for some reason, that presentation looks slicker. It was all the biggest names you could think of.
And by the way, wherever you are listening to this, whether it's SoundCloud, iTunes, Google, YouTube, what's better? Like comment below. Like we love this
SoundCloud
stuff. We interact
fans,
with all our
a lot
stuff.
of people listen to our shit on SoundCloud.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
17 or 19, everybody.
YouTube,
like we will chime in and defend our
English
choices.
on O.W.P, Jess. That's what's happening.
Okay.
Jesus.
What's up?
I'm just saying. It's a great second language to
I'm
learn.
sorry, what are we doing now?
English. We're teaching people how to speak English.
I'm sorry, what
That's
road are
we're
we turning down?
I'm sorry, what?
We really don't know what we're dealing with here, man.
Before we close up, I just want to say, Cuz gets MVP tonight, and here's why. Cuz had a new microphone with a new soundboard that he has prepped with a bunch of sound effects, and for him tonight to do it in a way which added to everything he touched instead of wanting to actually hit that button every 15 seconds, which I was in one, like MVP, Cuz. Like every sound bite you brought to your mic was you, and you did it at the right spot.
Craig, do me a favor, bud, and put it in the credits. Put it in the credits.
I mean,
Special thanks to Cuz.
And
put it in the appendix, as they say.
I
It's
just
going to
wanted
be in
to
the
hit it every
appendix.
fucking time
We've ran out of time. Put it in the
produced
appendix.
by Head Writer.
That's right.
Sound
Hit us up on
audio.
Instagram at OW2019. Click on Linktree. You can find us on several platforms, including Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, and Google Podcast. And anything we talk about is inspired by the WWE Network. So do yourself a favor and get your free month today to watch anything WWE, WCW, ECW, and more. This is Craig, Cuz, Jess, and Dave with the OWP signing off. Have a good one.
This world is wrong to be. Themselves oppressing your own cognitive function eliminated. Conversations are checks we're growing and awakening because of your own weak and fragilities such gentlemen, it is well only to all you only victimize you. To those who wish to defeat and not this true.